guys, I'm Coco.
I'm Matt, and welcome to
Coco Mac Lifestyles. So,
today we're going to be talking BDSM and specifically vetting. Before we even start on that, I want to go ahead and say we are not experts. We do not proclaim for there to be one way to do BDSM. And when we talk about BDSM or polyamory, we are not doing it from a state of this is a tutorial or this is the one way that it has to be done. We are talking about our experience and the things that we have learned and things that work for us. So with that being said,
Google is your friend.
So vetting. Obviously the first thing you want to know is where to start.
Really quickly, when we say vetting, when we do our videos, we will at least let you know what these terms are. And then if you want to go further outside of the video, Google is your friend. So vetting is basically the process in understanding and getting to know a potential partner in the lifestyle.
Yeah. So,
an extended interview, if you will.
that's pretty much it. The talking phase, that's really vetting.
Some of y'all need to be vetting in y'all regular dating life too. I'm just gonna.
So where to start? I feel like the first place to start is research. Before you even jump into, trying to get to know somebody or form a BDSM type relationship.
Get to know yourself.
You need to know what it is that you need. Mm-hmm. You can't communicate your needs if you don't know what they are.
Exactly.
So, get to know. Are you an S type? Are you a D type? We are not going to be defining everything that we stay here. So, if you don't know what any of these these phrases are, once again,
Google is your friend.
Now, then, what type of S type are you? Are you little? Are you a slave? Are you
a pet?
Anywho, we do this all day.
All day.
Now, once you've done your research, you know how you identify within the lifestyle, you know what you want out of the lifestyle. Now it's time to meet people, and take it seriously. Don't try to jump into the first thing that presents itself, because I promise you it's not the one. Unless you are a lottery winner type of lucky.
Yeah.
The first one probably ain't it.
50 Shades of Grey. We're going to have to do... You know what?
What's up?
I want to do a video series where we review 50 Shades of Grey and simply just point out all the egregiously terrible things about it.
Are we doing the book and the movie?
Oh, God, I'm not doing the book. Crazy. I read the books.
I didn't finish the books. I didn't finish the first book. I didn't get halfway through the first book.
I read all the books because I don't know how to stop. Okay, because I'm gonna tell you right now. Tangent. The background story to 50 Shades of Grey is what got me. I didn't care about the sex scenes. I didn't care about the BDSM undertones. Well, overtones. But it was the underlying drama, the underlying tea, where I was just like, oh God, I gotta buy the other book. I was mad that I had to buy the other books. I want y'all to understand I did not enjoy reading this, but I couldn't stop. Anyway, I feel like we should watch the movies and just rip it to shreds.
I mean, we're doing reviews for other movies. Why not?
Fair. Back on topic. 50 Shades of Grey's lied. Let's talk about vetting.
Okay. Let's go with red flags. Let's get into that. Things that you need to look out for while you're vetting. Let's start with while you're vetting a dom.
If somebody starts calling you a pet name or telling you what you need to do in the first 5 minutes, just block. Just block, because don't ask questions, nothing, just block. Like, the amount of ignorance, because I identify as an S-type, I am a sub, the amount of ignorance that exists in the world, then you narrow that down to the world of BDSM. It is ridiculous the way that a D-type, because I won't put a gender on it, the way that D-types, and that's dominant, will jump into, well, pseudo, will jump into your inbox and just start just going off the rails with, you're now mine, and you have to do this, and call me this. And I'm just like,
I don't know you.
Who sent you? What?
If somebody comes to you prepared to start a whole relationship,
yeah,
and you don't know the first thing about them,
you don't even know their last name, you don't even know their real name. Let's go there, because if you only refer to this person as their internet handle, red flags. Just throwing out red flag.
What else? Okay, so if they start, treating you like they're submissive, if they offer you a relationship and you haven't had the time to properly vet them, that's two big ones. Is there any other ones that we need to cover before we?
For D-types, if you are in the vetting stage.
Let me interface here, because a lot of people talk about the red flags that there are when vetting a dom. Do not be confused into thinking that subs don't show red flags as well.
Big ones. Big ones.
If they start treating, as a mirror to the rule about doms, if they start treating you like their dom and you don't know them and you don't know why, use the big brain. Use the big brain. Don't use the little brain, because that's absolutely a red flag. That means they could be offering that to anybody. We need to, as people, understand that we're talking about forming real, serious relationships that go deep.
The thing is, when it comes to BDSM relationships, there's so many types. Not all include romance. Not all include sex. So it's like, there are plenty of times where subs, especially with the pandemic, I know I'm about to go on a tangent, but the pandemic has caused a lot of us to be in a state of seclusion, right? And it has created spaces where a lot of S-types, they need somebody. They need a D-type for structure, for help with their depression and anxiety. Not saying that D-types are therapists, but like, that is a part of the dynamic. And so from our experience of what we've seen online, a lot of S-types will just kind of just throw things on the wall everywhere, or, basically DM hopping to see which one will stick. And that's a huge, huge red flag. Like, no shade, but like, I know of somebody who has literally tried to force their submission on several people, and it's never worked out, because they don't allow the vetting process to actually happen and like heal themselves first.
You need to establish trust.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is the first thing, the first priority when you're talking about BDSM, because you are putting yourself in a very vulnerable position, whether you're an S-type or a D-type.
Absolutely.
Another red flag when it comes to vetting subs. If she tells you she don't have no limits, get away from her.
It's
they. You are correct. You are they, he, she, whatever. If an S-type tells you that they don't have any limits, run. Because that means either they don't have any limits and that means they don't know them, or they're kind of nuts and they will tell you whatever that they need to tell you to make themselves sound
more desirable.
Mm-hmm. It's not good. It's not a good thing.
Now all of a sudden you sitting up here having a session and you playing around, and now all of a sudden they just are unalived, and you're like, wait, what?
So these are discussions that need to be had. You need to know what your limits are so that you can communicate them, and you need to know what your partner's limits are so that you can respect them. And if they say they don't have any, then that means they haven't given you a boundary for what to expect for this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And limits change.
All the time.
They expand, they contract. You know, you learn about yourself as things progress.
Mm-hmm.
So...
We definitely go into understanding and learning limits.
Yes, that will be a whole separate conversation. Yeah. I think we as people, we want the gratification of having somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And
no matter what that companionship looks like.
Right. And it's important that we are being conscious of having somebody that's going to benefit our lives and lift us up rather than, okay, I got somebody.
Mm-hmm.
There are definitely so many benefits that can come from this lifestyle if you approach it with patience and awareness and discernment.
Absolutely.
So just please be mindful when you're walking into any situation that's going to make you vulnerable.
I want to go back to where to start. We are in the age of technology, so a lot of these things start online. Very lucky if you can go to an actual lifestyle club. I know they're popping up more and more in different cities, but those are always kind of like be careful kind of situations, you know? Because normally a lot of lifestyle clubs glorify like the sexual aspects of it, because it's like it's kind of known that you're going to these lifestyle clubs to really be sexual. And again, not all lifestyle relationships are sexual. So that goes back to understanding what you want and who you are, where you fall on each spectrum. But when we talk about where to start, if it's happening online, do your research on the person. Like, once you understand what it is you want, do your research on the person. Like, when it comes to the lifestyle, people create entire personas, right? Like, if you're in a relationship, that's the person and you know them, they know you, whatever. But when it comes to BDSM, there's a lot of people who are like, this is who I am in the daytime. This is who I am at night. So they have entire personas. You need to know who that motherfucker is in the daytime too. Like, take your time to research this person, because you don't want to be in a situation where it's like, oh, well, that's Mistress Bunny or whatever like that. But you don't know her real name is Tamala and she out here running scams. You know what I'm saying? Like, do your research. When we talk about where to start, it starts with research on the person and on the lifestyle.
Whether you're starting online or in a club, I feel like a portion of vetting needs to take place in person.
Absolutely.
And it needs to take place away from the clubs.
Yes.
It needs to take place somewhere safe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, go out in public, go on dates, go on
Mm-hmm.
real dates,
Mm-hmm.
where you can just kind of get a feel for the person if that energy is right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can go back and forth online all you want about, I want to do this and that and the other.
Role playing and whatnot.
And then you get around the person and that energy ain't the same.
Listen. It been public. Vet in person. I am speaking from experience. That energy don't always be the same when it starts online.
And don't go straight to that person's house.
Oh God. No.
Don't go straight to a hotel.
No.
Don't jump into a session your first time meeting this person in person. Like, there are steps.
Yeah.
There are steps that you need to follow for your own safety.
Yeah.
So with all that, let's talk about some green flags. Let's talk about some good signs that you're headed in the right direction.
When there are talks about boundaries, when there are talks about limits, and when they want to get to know you as a person, like what do you like outside of getting spanked and tied up with silly string? What's your favorite color? You know what I'm saying? Like, they actually want to get to know you as a person.
They show concern for you, not just expressing my own limits, but asking you, what are yours? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about that?
Mm-hmm.
you know, if the person is showing concern for you before they get you out of whatever it is that you're wearing, that's a good sign.
Yes.
What else?
I would say if this person can exude the energy that you're looking for before you even tell them, because it's one thing for somebody to be like, oh, well, you like bratty submissive, so now I'm going to be bratty, as opposed to, I mean, I'm a whole brat, so you gonna either deal with it or not. You know what I'm saying? Like when the energy feels matched before you even give them the rundown of what you're looking for, I always say that's a green flag, because it feels like there's an alignment there. And then you got to figure out who they are as a person. Right? I can't stress that enough, y'all.
So this is a list that could go on forever. I'm thinking of things from sections that we've already gone past.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the other big red flag, regardless of who you're looking for, if all they're talking about is sex,
yeah,
that ain't it.
Yeah. Or if you're in the vetting stage, because there's like the research, and then you get into the talking, and then you slowly start to do little things, just to kind of like test the waters. And I'm saying this from my point of view, as an S type, if the D type that you're vetting super gun-ho when it talk about, the sexual things, but like the caregiver aspect isn't there, or like they really only talk to you when they want to do some session type stuff. There's no, how was your day? Did you drink enough water? Did you take your vitamins? Different things like that. That's a red flag. That's a huge red flag, because a lot of these D types out here are in it to have rough sex and last 13 seconds and say that they're a D type. Like,
okay, so you've gone through the vetting session in depth. It's been weeks. You've met in person several times. You're really getting the feeling that this is the person. And I don't want to say the one, because there are aspects of polyamory that can fit in. You might already have a partner.
Blend into each other.
But you're feeling like this person could be your person. This is the point where you need to establish what the boundaries of your relationship are. There is no, oh, this is now my D type, we're just going to take it and run. Understand, these are the boundaries, these are the rules. This is what happens if the rules are broken. Because just like any other relationship, a BDSM relationship is bound by trust. And if you don't know, where the bounds are,
right,
it's very easy to break that trust.
Mm-hmm. So in our relationship, we don't have any like contract or anything. There are some BDSM dynamics where it is explicitly written out. Both parties agree to it, sign it. That's like a whole contract. Because we are in an actual relationship, on top of having a dynamic, we don't really feel like it's necessary to have one. Because at the end of the day, we're in our relationship first before we're in our dynamic. So we talk things out. We discuss, any limit changes or anything like that. But in that regard, like, it's really going to come down to the boundaries have to be expressed regardless. Like, no matter if you have a written contract or it's just kind of an unspoken thing. Unspoken things tote a very fine line. There still has to be a level of communication, because the trust has to be built on something. I trust that you won't do this. I trust that you will do that. You can't really leave that unspoken. Because if you guys, y'all know me, unspoken expectations lead to self-sabotage. It's just what it is. So that's definitely something that's major. You have to express those things. And then vetting can take as long as you want it to. I just want to throw that out there too. It shouldn't only be a few days though. Like, take this like you would take an actual relationship. If you guys are strictly a BDSM dynamic, there's no romantic relationship, you should still treat the vetting stage as if you were talking to somebody for romantic purposes. So we're talking a couple weeks to a couple months, really. Even then it can take a little longer depending on who it is. Like, that's completely up to your discernment.
Yeah. I feel like this is a good start.
You guys let us know if there's anything specific you want us to talk about when it comes to BDSM. I'm pretty sure as time goes on, we'll get more into our specific dynamic. There's a lot of layers to it.
I think the next one we will talk specifically about limits and how to be respectful of them.
Definitely.
But, once again, if there is anything specific you want to hear about, hit us up in the comments. You can reach us on our Twitter page, on our Facebook page. We have avenues. So, by all means, come on through.
Like, subscribe, and share, and all that fun stuff you're supposed to say.
All right.
Don't ask us about the silly string, though.
Hit the button.
I'm just saying, man.